It's 5 o'clock, so we're going to get started. Welcome to our City Council meeting on this beautiful March day. Hopefully we're getting rain this weekend, but today it's gorgeous outside. We had down that the Reverend Alex Wilkie was going to give our invocation. Is anybody else here to give the invocation in his place? No? Okay, then I've asked Councilwoman Natalie Larson to give us our invocation.
Our Heavenly Father, we're grateful to be assembled tonight at this council meeting. We're grateful to live in this beautiful city and these comfortable surroundings. Heavenly Father, we pray tonight that as we discuss the things on the agenda, that we will do so with good intent and open minds. We pray at this time that the mountains surrounding us may receive the snow and the valley may receive the rain that we desperately need. Father, at this time we ask for a special blessing on those people suffering in the world, especially Ukraine, that they may be comforted and that they'll feel the support of the world, and that we as Americans will do our part in supporting them. We're grateful for the officers, the police officers, and the firefighters and our first responders that serve our community so well. And we ask that they be watched over and protected as well. Again, we're grateful for all many blessings, and we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thanks, Natalie. Greg, will you lead us in the pledge?
Yes. Please stand and recite the Pledge of Allegiance along with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we have a couple of pre-agenda items. The first one, I'm going to invite Shane Moore, our Leisure Services Director, to come up and present an award.
Thanks, Mayor. Thanks, Council. So today we have with us a newly awarded Citizen of the Year by the American Legion, Brad Rollins, and he is our sexton. And I have to tell you guys real quick, he is the most empathetic and kind person that I've ever met. And everybody who deals with him down there when they come to the cemetery, and some of them, you know, there's some really trying times, Brad just really handles everybody with kid gloves. So it's my privilege and pleasure to bring him up and to share with you all the award he's given by the American Legion, and it's for his service to the city of St. George and to all the veterans and all the nice things he does. So, Brad, you want to say real quick a little bit about the award?
Well, I guess it's just we try to get our Eagle Scout projects for the veterans that don't have monuments. We try to get that done for them. We do Wreaths Across America. We do Memorial Day. We do Veterans Day. And then anything we can do to help American Legion set up for their Pearl Harbors and their memorial services and things we do. We take it pretty serious down there. We really do. And I think we do a really good job. And you know what? It's the best job in the world, actually. Really is.
You do an outstanding job. I'm sure Jimmy can comment more to that, but I'm going to come down and have David get a photo of us with your award. Okay?
Perfect.
You should be able to.
I think so. Hey, Brad, more importantly, who's that you have with you?
Thank you. Well, this is my best half, Julie.
Perfect.
She says, "Oh, your shirt's wrinkled."
I'll just take a second from my my real job. I get to work with Brad quite often, and he really is the best of the best. And a lot of the people that I deal with that have to, are dealing with a real trying situation, sometimes they're not always that well put together when they come and see Brad. And everybody feels like they have gotten taken well care of when they do. And I always tell people when they have to go to the cemetery, make sure you talk to Brad. He'll take good care of you, and they always give me feedback back that he does. From a professional side as well, he is the best of the best. You know that he likes what he does, and he does a great job at our cemeteries. I'm certainly glad that he's there, and he's well deserving of this award from the American Legion. So, good job, Brad.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Congrats again. So the Energy Services received an award, and Rick Madsen, he's a 35-year employee and superintendent of the power department. Our energy department is a member of the Intermountain Power Superintendents Association, IPSA, which is an organization that oversees both our lineman and substation apprenticeships through the Department of Labor. The apprenticeships consist of a minimum of 4 years of training, including 7,800 documented hours throughout their apprenticeships. Along with this, they are required to test yearly on their skills and knowledge and to document a minimum of 144 unpaid hours of related training each year. Last night, our utility was recognized with an award for having no energy service employee incur lost time due to accidents for the past 5 years. This represents approximately 675,000 hours worked in this time frame. This award is rarely earned. We're one of the few to achieve this out of the over 80 utilities that are members of IPSA. And we currently have 12 local youth in our lineman apprenticeship program. So Rick, tell us more about this award. And first, congratulations, you guys. You're amazing.
Well, first of all, being here 36 years, and I still love coming to work, so I feel very fortunate and very lucky. So I love my job, and I love working with Lori. So with our profession, there's a lot of hazards involved, and to get this award, it really means a lot to the city. It saves a lot of cost, on injuries, and we're very thankful for our employees. What a great job they do. We focus a lot on training, and getting this award really pays off. This award doesn't get given out very much, and we're really happy we got it. Very proud of our employees.
It's awesome. Again, you guys have an amazing power department. Lori, do you want to say?
Yeah. Rick is a wonderful person. He's been here 36 years. He's the reason why we're so reliable and we have such great safety standards. We have young men that go out with him every day, and I don't worry that they're going to come home safe every night to their families. And so I thought this was a really special occasion. I wanted to share it with all you.
I want to come down and get a picture so David can get it out there. All right, now we're ready for our agenda. Adam, has anything changed on our agenda?
No changes, but I would point out that we have an addendum, so we're going to jump back and forth. When we get to the consent calendar, we've got item E, so don't forget that one. And then at the end of the first agenda that you got, we'll do items 13 and 14 to wrap it up.
Okay. So our first item is comments from the public. And when we take comments from the public, you must be a resident of the city of St. George. Each speaker will be given approximately 3 minutes. Be courteous and show respect, and comments cannot be related to any pending issues on the agenda. So with that, our first public comment is from Douglas Schmutz to talk about water, the irrigation water. And if you'll state your name for the record, for the recorder.
My name is John Douglas Schmutz. I go by Doug. And thank you, Mayor, for allowing me to speak. I know 2 years ago we met with the City Council and made a plea to continue the irrigation water. We were told there would be a solution. Well, the solution that has been offered to us, which I think is now a foregone conclusion, is to allow or to force us to use culinary water for our irrigation needs and to get a 40% discount, so pay 60%. But with the graduated rate on water use, that doesn't amount to very much, because now we'll double or triple our water usage during the season in which we irrigate, and there won't be any savings. We'll pay more. I realized that the secondary water system, which I thought was a good solution, has been determined not to be sufficient. So I won't complain about that, but I think honesty compels us to admit that a small discount on our culinary water doesn't compensate for the loss of all that water that the city has taken over. I guess I'm complaining about that, and I wanted to express that. But I also would suggest that a more equitable solution would be a larger discount, or stopping the rate increase with increased water. Because clearly, if we're to have a garden, and you encouraged that, we're going to use a lot more water than we've been using in the past for drinking and for watering our lawn. So I'm asking for a better rate to compensate us for the loss of that water. We are doing what we can. We're getting old, and it's hard to garden on the ground. So my brother and I have decided to put in grow boxes. So they'll be much smaller. Our neighbors won't get near as much produce as they're used to, but it will be a smaller garden, more efficient because we won't be flooding. But I think we need a better compensation than 60% rate. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, Mr. Schmutz. Our next comment is from Mike McKee, and he has on here drugs and gang connection.
Mike McKee. I've been noticing on the news for the last several weeks, there seems to be a lot of interdiction stops being made on Interstate 15 of drugs. And then I actually left a message for St. George PD on the 24th of last month to give me a call. And for some reason, they never returned it. I asked for the PIO to call me back. I'm quite concerned that on February 18th of last month, there were 17 arrests made in Washington County. 11 of them were in the city of St. George. They are all Hispanic names. And also a couple of days later, they arrested a person who did a drive-by shooting in Salt Lake City, here in St. George. Do we have the Mexican drug cartel move into this city? I think we need to find that out for the safety of the citizens. Because right now, from what I'm looking at, if it looks like a duck, acts like a duck, it's a duck. And if we have that problem here, we don't want the same problems that Salt Lake City has with their drug problem and their gang activity. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Council, consent calendar. Have you had time to look over the consent calendar? Anything you want to discuss? And remember, there's item E on the addendum.
Excuse me, I hate to interrupt. Me and my wife, we both have full-time jobs, go 9 to 5, so I can put in my public comment until we got here a little bit past 5. Is there time to do a more public comment?
You bet. Get
My name is Joseph Mitchell, and I'm here with my wife Leah and my son Jordan. We're coming today because there is a dangerous traffic hazard. It's just south of the intersection of River Road and Brigham Road. And this is due to some construction that happened several months ago, and the construction involved moving a divider. What's the word? Medium, thank you. The medium that would help the left-hand turn lane going northbound to get onto Brigham Road. An unforeseen problem that has occurred is that traffic that's on that left-hand turn has been backed up further than a half a mile. And it took us several weeks to try to find someone within the city that is over that. And we finally found someone that was the engineer to talk about this problem, and he said three things to us. One is that there's not much to do because we can't have standstill traffic going northbound, it's just too dangerous. The second is that it's not really their problem, because if they are entering into that left-hand turn lane at the entrance of our townhomes, they're actually violating the traffic laws, and they're not supposed to do that anyways. And the third thing is that he just didn't believe us. He says, I can't imagine that it's being backed up that far. Well, the first thing is that since I can't get into the turning lane because it's getting backed up so far, I'm now stopping traffic going southbound. The same problem that he wanted to avoid on the other side, that I'm doing on the southbound side. The second is that, okay, we called the police department and filed a report. And they were very nice and very straightforward, saying we're extremely busy and backed up, and it will be a while till we get in touch. We still haven't gone in touch with them. And the third thing is that I do have pictures, have a flash drive of showing that it's backed up past the entrance of our townhome, even on then some. That's just preventing us from getting into the turning lane to get into our home safely. I can give more detail. I want to be involved in this solution. If it needs to be an agenda in city council, I want to be informed so I can come in and give more details and information of what's happening, because right now we are not safe. I have seen, and just by taking pictures, I've witnessed close accidents because of that, and we're asking for help. We'd hate for something tragic to happen before we can get a solution. And
so Joseph, I'm gonna stop you there, and I appreciate your comments, and I'm gonna put you in touch right there, the guy in the back with his hand up. He's over Public Works, and he'll probably go out in the hallway with you and have a conversation and get all of your documentation and everything, and he's the one that will handle that, okay?
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
Thank you. Joseph Mitchell.
All right, back to the consent calendar.
Mayor, I read over the consent calendar, and I'll make a motion to approve the consent calendar as presented.
Can we discuss item 14?
That's not on the consent calendar.
Oh, down
It's just
this
number
way.
2. It's just E.
Yeah. It just goes to E, and then 13 and 14 will be later.
I'll second the motion.
Motion by Danielle, seconded by Greg. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Wes, state your name for the record.
Do you want me to read what we're doing?
Sure.
Number 3, correct?
Yes.
Public hearing and consideration of a subdivision amendment for Castle Rock subdivision, Phase 1 partial amendment A, lots 40 and 46, by vacating the public utilities and drainage easement and merging said lots together into one lot.
There you go. Wes Jenkins, Assistant Public Works Director. So as Tawny said, basically that is the request, is to take these two lots right here and to merge them into one lot. vacating the public utility easement and property line between the two lots. So making it one lot.
Any questions on that? Pretty simple.
Have you received any negative feedback?
No, we haven't, no. And it is a public hearing, so.
Council, before I open the public hearing, do you have any questions? Seeing none, I will open the public hearing for anyone who has come to comment on the consideration of a subdivision amendment for Castle Rock subdivision. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing and come back to you, Council, for a motion.
Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve the subdivision amendment for Castle Rock subdivision Phase 1 partial amendment A, lots 40 and 46 by vacating the public utilities and drainage easements and merging the said lots together into one lot.
Second. Motion by Greg, seconded by Michelle. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Wes, you're just up here for the next
I know
few.
that. Okay, the next request is a public hearing in consideration of an amendment for the Bloomington Country Club number 10, amending lots 1 and 2. So basically, what it is they are extending the lot line of 1 to the east into lot 2. So lot 2 shrinks in size, lot 1 increases in size, which requires a vacation of the utility easement right there between the two lots, establishing a new one here with the new lot line. And then they're merging in this parcel right here into lot 1, vacating that easement line right there in the pink and establishing a new one in the green, and right there also as they're shifting that line a little bit.
All righty. Questions for Wes? This too is a public hearing, so seeing no questions from the council, I'll open up the public hearing for anybody who has come to comment on item number 4. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing, come back to you, council, for action.
I'll move to approve item 4 on the agenda for a subdivision amendment for Bloomington Country Club number 10, partial amendment A, lot 1 and 2, by vacating the sewer line, drainage, and/or irrigation or ditch easement, and to adjust the common lot line to the east and add the additional area at the rear of each lot.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Chell, seconded by Danielle. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Okay, the next item is a request to consider a public hearing and of a subdivision amendment for Riverwood Mills subdivision partial amendment A by vacating a portion of the public utility and drainage easement and add new easements as required. So this is all one lot right here, lot 3. You may have seen this. They do have a building right here. What they would like to do is propose to build another building right there. Currently, you can see that there are a number of utility easements. These are drainage easements right through here. There's a couple of storm drain lines that come through there. And then this is your standard utility easement on the property line. So the utility easement, when it was platted, ran all the way up here. And what they would like to do is build their building right into this yellow area and utilize this whole space. And so the request is to vacate that portion there. They are establishing 2 new easements there. Staff was okay with it as there are no utilities. They went through the JUC process that are within that easement. But furthermore, we feel like if we ever needed to extend something over here or vice versa, you could come through that storm drain easement right through there. So we felt like it was their properties encumbered a lot and felt like that easement, there were other alternatives that easement is vacated.
Thanks, Wes. Questions for Wes? See no questions for Wes. This is also a public hearing, so I will open up the public hearing for anyone who has come to comment on item number 5. Seeing no one, I will close the public hearing. Come back to you, council.
Mayor, motion to approve the subdivision amendment for Riverwoods Mill subdivision partial amendment A, Lot 3, by vacating a portion of the public utilities and drainage easement and add new easements as required.
Second.
Motion by Danielle, seconded by Natalie? Michelle, sorry. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Okay, let's see. The next item is a request for a hillside development permit to remove the 30-foot ridgeline setback on lots, it should have been 82, 83, 84 of South Rim at 4 Master Ridge Phase 4 in anticipation of construction of residential home. So this is South Rim at 4 Master Phase 4, the subdivision. Let me just get down to another picture here. So when this came back in, I think it was 2017, so there's your general plan commercial, your zoning is R110. So when this came to staff in 2017, they are within the hillside overlay zone, but they were only disturbing the mesa, if you will, of this portion and south of there, of what was left of that 4 Master property. And so they weren't disturbing anything greater than 20% slope. And the engineer said, look, we know where the ridge line is. They drew it on a map, said, we're going to establish this ridge line. So we'll have a ridge line setback line that you can't get into that 30 feet right there. And so that's the way the subdivision, both on the south and on the north side, was platted, other than the 2 lots right here on the south side of 4 Master Drive. So that area right there is what we call the 30-foot ridge line setback. The ordinance has changed since then and allows you to put pools and things like that or landscape it, but not vertical structures. So the developer of this lot would like to eliminate that ridgeline setback across these 3 lots right here. This was his house plan, basically showing what he wanted to do. And so his house would come to that 30-foot line, but he wanted to build a pool. But the reason we're bringing this back, or we went to Hillside, was, I'll show you right here. So with the development, they built a retaining wall all along the 30-foot setback line right there. And so so the ridge line was established as right here. And so they built this retaining wall. What they would like to do is take that retaining wall and move it out to here. Their argument was they felt like there was no ridgeline setback when this was established, that it was kind of established indiscriminately. And to be honest, we never did take it to Hillside because the developer established it at the time with his engineer. So if you look at it, this is basically the 30-foot ridgeline setback follows that rock formation right there, and then it comes over there like that. So the 3 lots that are here tonight extend from here over to here, and that's where they're requesting that the ridgeline setback be eliminated so that they can move their rock walls here out to that setback line, because their argument was this is what it looked like pre, and this is what it looked like post. So their argument is there really should be no ridgeline setback on these 3 lots. Now, when they did that, the interesting thing is the engineer didn't account for any ridgeline setback here. It came across those 2 lots, followed the property line. Once it got to here, then they had a ridgeline setback. So that's what they're requesting, is the elimination on the final plat of that ridgeline setback across those 3 lots, allowing them to extend their walls out to property line, and in essence, somewhat establishing a ridgeline that mirrors this right through here. And I think that's why staff let it come forward, is because as we looked at those old photos, we recognized that there really was no ridgeline. It was just a rolling hill, and that's why we told them they could take it back to Hillside and make that request.
Questions for Wes?
Yeah, question is, so when it was determined before, it was just an arbitrary definition of where they thought they'd put the retaining wall and create a ridge line?
Yeah, I mean, and I don't think to be honest, I don't think we really focused so much on the north side as we did the south side, which, goes along 4 Master or Riverside, I mean, and so forth. And so we really focused on that. I don't think we really looked at it so close. But yeah, they established it. They brought us a map in and showed us, hey, this is where the ridge line is. We're going to establish it right now. We'll have a 30-foot setback. Staff agreed with it and said, yeah, we won't make you go to Hillside if you're going to establish that. We agree with you. And again, they weren't disturbing any slopes greater than 20%. So the other facet of it was just the ridge line, and they said, we'll just establish one now with our final plat.
Okay. And now is it going into 20% or greater now?
No, not right through here. It isn't.
Okay.
No.
I'll make a comment too, just while I'm talking. The main thing is if we move that, I just want to make sure that if that retaining wall moves back, that we make that requirement is we make it match the hill.
Oh, so that was one of the conditions as it went to Hillside. They wanted it stained to match the color of the rock right there. So that was one of the conditions, was similar to what we did on Four Master. When they developed, they had to stain those rock walls the color of the black color, and that's what they requested, similar to what they did originally on Four Master, was that the rock wall would be stained, that it would blend in with the existing rocks.
Is it going to be the same height as the current rock wall, or is it higher?
My bet is it'll be a little bit higher. I don't know how much, but my bet is this. As I stood right here, it looks like this is kind of a rocky slope, and it looks like it's about 5 to 6 feet high. So I would bet their walls will be up to the 8 feet maximum because they're doing rock walls. So it may be just a little bit higher.
Okay, thanks.
Other questions for Wes? I think it makes sense. If there's no questions, I'm ready for a motion.
I have one more question. It's 3 separate lots, though.
Yeah, it's 8. So he originally came in for 83, I believe it was, and we said, no, if we're going to do it, let's do it along the 3 lots where there is no slope, that rock formation isn't there, which is 82, 83, and 84. We felt like it ought to be together, so that if you're going to push the wall back, it would be in a line with those rocks right there. So in essence, because they're building, if we are approved to build that rock wall, it basically establishes a ridge line there that matches then in horizontally and somewhat vertically to that existing tall slope, rock slope, I mean.
Okay, I just concerned about the height a little bit, so it doesn't look like 8 feet of height right there. It blends into the hillside.
So the maximum they could go is 8 feet, and that's what they proposed. You want me to come up?
I guess one other question was, is like 8 feet of that rock wall, and then they're going to put a 6-foot fence on top of it. Is that, you know what I'm saying? Like it's 8 feet, and then it's 8 more feet of backyard wall.
Wes, doesn't it say in the requirement that the fence on top of that has to be wrought iron? It has to be
yes, and that's
visibility
what
through
we're
it?
planning on doing
Yeah.
is wrought iron. Yep. But it is currently.
Can you state your name for the record?
Jordan Wood.
So what's currently there is 8 feet too?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, it actually is 8 feet on 84 and 83, and then tapers down into 82, a little less.
So in essence, you'd be moving what's there back. Same height.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Any other questions?
And maybe we make it a condition that they all put in wrought iron fencing on their walls on the top, so it's not so.
That was the original condition as well that the Hillside had requested for us to do.
So yeah, those are the conditions, that wrought iron fencing and the rock be stained to match the surrounding rock color.
Are those staff's conditions?
Huh?
Did
Hillside,
staff
yeah.
make those?
Yeah, those are the conditions that were
They're-
part of the
they're in
Hillside
there.
that have carried through with the Planning Commission and City Council.
And the house still sits 30 feet back. We're just making it so the lot goes back and the
Exactly.
house is still.
Yeah.
Just so you can build the dirt up, basically. That was the main request. Yeah, I mean, but we had the ability to do that before, but this just makes it so it's more usable backyard space.
True. Make it work.
Mayor, if you're ready for a motion,
Yeah.
I'll make a motion that we approve the Hillside development permit to remove the 30-foot ridgeline setback on lots 30 or 82, 83, and 84 of the south rim at 4 Master Ridge Phase 4, final plat in anticipation of the construction of a residential home on, is it lot 83?
Yeah, but it would be along 82, 83, and 84.
But it's on all four, okay.
And then with the conditions that it be stained to match, from the hillside and open fencing on top of their wrought iron fencing.
Okay, to match all the conditions that are listed in our packet.
I think it's important we say wrought iron, so it's not.
It's in the packet, but if you want to list it.
Just says solid, no solid fences. It doesn't specify what it is, I don't think.
I think, okay, so I would just amend it to say no solid fences, because I don't necessarily think it has to be wrought iron. There's other materials that are not solid.
Chain link.
Well,
specifically
we don't allow that.
requested black wrought iron.
Okay.
They said no other colors but black, so, yeah.
Okay. We'll amend the motion to say black fencing, see-through.
Second.
Motion by Danielle, seconded by Michelle. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
So the next item is a request for a hillside development permit to allow a storm drain with a concrete trail above it and a pedestrian bridge all within the hillside overlay zone. So let me just show you. So when we were in the initial stages of looking at Tech Ridge, as we looked at the drainage that was going to be created on site as you improve that property, the request is made from staff that their drainage, as much as possible, be conveyed to the west side of the hill, because you have already existing infrastructure on the east side, and it would be difficult to take that runoff, and we just didn't have the storm drain capacity that was there existing. So most of their drainage is being conveyed to the west side and coming off the west side. So as part of this is one of their storm drain lines that they want to build coming off that west side right there. Let me see if I can get you some. So that's a general plan zoning. So that's roughly the location of where the storm drain line would go right here. The other request is they have a trail that goes around the exterior of the Tech Ridge Parkway, Tech Ridge property. There is a portion right there where they would like to build this trail bridge over the ridgeline setback. So the ridgeline setback is actually in here. What they would like to do is build this right through here, kind of in that area extending beyond the ridgeline area. And so that is their request, that and the storm drain. And basically the storm drain line would need mitigation. Their proposal, and it's really not part of the request tonight, it's just one of the things they've looked at is doing a set of stairs that goes up on the side of it. So in the area where they would disturb putting in the storm drain line and the spoils and all of that, they want to put, that's what their proposal. It's really not part of the motion. I'll just show you it. It's just something that they proposed, but we'll have to look at that. We haven't looked at it in any detail as how it would be designed, is it structurally sound and so forth. That's just something they had proposed. But we did look at the slope categories. They're well below each slope category as far as in the allowable disturbance areas. And the 40%, they're not within that area. So that's the alignment right through there of the storm drain. And then the bridge would be right through there. So they provided, let me see where this is, right there. So they provided this little video here just to kind of give you an idea what it looks like. So here's Indian Hills Drive. You're going up through their development. So this is Black Ridge Cove. So you can see where the stairs would go up right there. So this is where the alignment of the storm drain line, and then they're just saying, hey, it'd be neat to put some stairs on there. Again, that's not a condition of approval, it's just, that's one possible mitigation of the scarring.
Yeah, climb those stairs.
So Wes, if you do,
And then that's just the bridge right there, just so you can see it. Go ahead.
so in other words, if you do figure out that that works and the concrete's okay, then they can just go ahead, or is that something you have to come back with? I mean, you're saying it's not part of the motion.
Yeah,
but,
I mean,
but really, we're saying that that's okay to do that if you guys figure out how to make it work and engineer it right, and the concrete's okay and it can be maintained. And
yeah, I mean, that's their proposal. I guess that's something we'd have to look at and see if that is acceptable.
There could be an additional agreement. You know, we talked
Right.
about warranty periods and things like that. We may want to, if we proceed in this manner, we may want to, you know, put some type of an agreement together
Okay.
that really outlines exactly what we're doing. You know, make everything from making sure that it blends in with the hill, that it's safe, that we can maintain the storm drain line like we need to without unreasonable costs. So I would expect some type of an agreement in the future that would come back to council.
okay.
To look at. And one of the conditions they made was, just like that rock wall, they asked them to use some type of coloring of the concrete so it was darker, so that it blended in on the hillside. So don't have it that concrete color, but as dark as, you know, a darker color of concrete, so some type of coloring of the concrete so that it would blend in.
So Adam, on here it says approval of a hillside development permit to allow a storm drain with concrete staircase. He's talking to Tawny.
Yeah, that's just one possible mitigation. Until we see the design of the storm drain,
Yeah.
we didn't feel comfortable approving that. Just, it was an option that they had thrown out as a possibility to mitigate the scarring.
Just trying to figure out how to word that in a motion to come back for an agreement on the stairs.
Yeah, direct staff to negotiate the actual type of improvements to go on top of the easement and bring that back in an agreement for the council.
So right now, then, we're just going to,
It's basically approving the hillside permit for the disturbance of the storm drain installation.
And then the ridge
And the
line
bridge.
setback on the
Yes.
bridge, yep.
the bridge is on there.
Yeah.
Just as a comment, I want to add, I think I'm excited about the stairs. So, I mean, if we're going to put a big scar down the side of the hill to do something that's beneficial for Tech Ridge, which is great, I'd love to see something as cool as the stairs to cover it up. So I hope that we can go that direction.
City council race. Should we have our new city council? That'll be our
Go right
add to our
ahead,
city
council.
races. City council race.
You do have a runner
Except for
amongst yourselves.
the race
Just-
is
I'm
going
just throwing
down.
that out there so everybody's aware of it.
She goes up and everyone else.
Yeah.
If the stairs don't go in, can we say, you know, we're going to try to, I mean, when you put something big like that, that is a big scar that's totally noticeable. I mean, can we really try to mitigate that? Or I'd just like to make sure that we try to mitigate that if the stairs don't go in.
I think that's the plan.
Yeah, and the mitigation is required in some form, I think, isn't it?
Right.
So
Yep.
Anyone want to take a shot at a motion?
I have some concerns. I'm kidding, Isaac. I'll make a motion that we approve the hillside development permit for the storm drain and the pedestrian bridge to be installed on the Tech Ridge project, with the exception of staff working out an agreement on the mitigation and/or slash staircase and bringing that back to us.
Second.
Motion by Jimmy, seconded by Danielle. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Okay, the next item is a request to approve an amended preliminary plat by adding one additional lot to the approved Desert Solace Phase 4 preliminary plat which will make this now a 22-lot residential subdivision. The site is located in Desert Canyon Development along Rimrunner Drive at approximately 4200 East. Zoning is R112. So basically, here, yeah, so this is down here in Desert Canyons. This is Desert Solace. The preliminary plat was already approved. They would like to add one additional lot right there. So this is a wash that comes down here. This is the Arizona border right here to your west side, east side. I'm trying to describe it for you. So this is the Arizona border right here, and the wash right there. One of the concerns staff had was to make sure that in a 100-year event, the lot sat high enough that it wouldn't be impacted by the flows in the wash. So they have done an analysis for us, if I can find it on here. Oh, it's right here. So you can see right here, they did an analysis of the 100-year flow that would come through there. You can see where the pad would be. You can see where the 100-year elevation of the water would be. So obviously they'd have to provide some type of riprap protection there to protect the lot from erosion. But they also, the lot will be well above the 100-year flood surface. So that was just one thing staff wanted to make sure that they addressed.
Questions for Wes?
So Wes, being able to read these, they look good to you?
Yeah, I think so. Yep.
Okay.
You ready for a motion?
Yep.
I'll make a motion that we approve the amended preliminary plat for Desert Solace Phase 4 by adding one additional lot, making this a 22-lot residential subdivision.
Second.
Motion by Danielle, seconded by Greg. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, this item is a request to approve a preliminary plat for a 53-lot residential subdivision called Red Pine Phases 1 and 2. Site is located approximately 3,000 south and 3,500 east. Zone is R18. The applicant is DSG Development Solutions. So this is right here is where it's located. I call this Aspen Elementary. I know that's not the name of it. That's what we kind of knew it as when it came in. But it's the new elementary school out there in the Little Valley area. So it'd be just right to the east of that elementary school. There's the zoning is R18, it hasn't changed. So this is the layout of the subdivision right there.
I'll go ahead with the motion if you, no comment.
What are those lot sizes?
Let me just zoom in. I thought I had written that down, but maybe then. I think the biggest was like 12,000 right here, and I believe the smallest was right here at about 8,400 square feet was the smallest. Okay. So it ranged from 8,400 up to 12,600 is what it was.
Okay.
It says 12,605.
12,605. I knew it was somewhere in that range.
Want to make a motion, Jimmy?
Yeah, contrary to my normal small lot disdain, I will go ahead and make a motion that we approve the preliminary plat for Red Pine Phases 1 and 2 with the conditions of staff, which I noticed were about drainage.
Oh, yeah. So you see this lot right here? So when this subdivision developed, they had to put in a detention basin and only let the existing flows that were there go through onto the Atkin property. So with this subdivision, this gets vacated and they now can build this lot. So as we go forward in the construction drawing review, they'll have to provide some way to only release again the pre-flows north onto the Atkin property, which I'm anticipating will probably be similar to this, a detention basin here temporary until further downstream facilities are in place. Thank you. Yep.
That called kicking the can down the street.
Yeah, it is, especially when the ground slopes to the north, yeah.
I'll second Jimmy's motion.
Motion by Jimmy, seconded by Natalie. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Let's go to item number 13. It says it's you, Cameron.
Item 13 is for Lori.
Oh.
Yes.
Yes, Lori, sorry. I was looking at E.
We snuck it on her.
I did make your heart race, though, huh?
I was taking a little snooze back there. No. So what you're looking at is a power purchase agreement for some solar. It's up in northern Utah, and it'll replace in 23 some coal-fired generation that we have out in the middle of Utah. It'll replace the reduction that we have there, and it's about 50% of the cost. Nice. Any questions?
We're just lucky to have you, Laurie, looking out for our power needs.
Yeah, comment would be anything you bring towards us, I think I'd be ready to approve because we trust you so much.
Yeah,
So,
seriously,
thank
me too.
I'm ready for a motion.
with that, I'll make a motion that we approve the resolution authorizing the Still 1B solar project transaction schedule into the master firm power supply agreement with UAMPS.
Second.
Motion by Greg, seconded by Natalie. All in favor, starting with Michelle?
Aye.
Say your name. Ann.
Michelle Tanner, aye.
Natalie Larson, aye.
Greg MacArthur, aye.
Jimmy Hughes, aye.
Danielle Larkin, aye.
Oh, no, I didn't want to vote. I just wanted to say something.
Oh, you were saying aye.
You were looking at me like, you don't get to vote.
No, I'm like, I didn't know what you're. I'm like, I can't vote either.
I'll
What
let
are you
you, I'll
looking
let
at?
you count the votes, but I would love to say something if I could.
Yes,
before,
motion
before Lori
carries
leaves.
unanimously. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. This is totally off. Well, it's not off topic. It's not on the agenda. But I just want to say I just spent a couple of days with Lori in Washington D.C. With the APPA. It's the American Public Power Association. It is a national organization. Super smart people that keep our nation's energy grid up and running and safe. Lori is on that national board. What she won't tell you, but I'm going to brag on her for a minute. They actually had asked her to serve as vice president and then eventually to be the president of that national board. Now, her pending retirement in a year led her to politely decline. But I just wanted to point out what an incredible and talented employee Lori is. What a great benefit to our community. All of the work that she does to keep our electric rates low, among the lowest in the entire country. We just benefit so much from her work. I'm super proud of her. I love working with her. I learn something new from her every day. And we've got a year left, and we're going to do everything we can to just soak up everything in her brain so that when she goes, we don't just have this massive drop-off, and we won't. We'll be ready. But I just want to recognize her and the great work she does.
Ditto, absolutely. Lori, you're a rock star.
The solution.
Consider waiting to retire. You'll get bored.
I would say the solution to that, you could still be that vice president and president. We could just extend your employment. Oh, wow. Those horses are calling loud, aren't they? Yeah. Good for you.
Now, Cameron, you're up. Sorry.
Oh, no problem. Lori does deserve that. This item number 14 is consider approval of an ordinance amending fees at the reuse center. Each of you are probably aware of the issues that we've had at the reuse center and trying to keep up with some of the demand. We did have, you're probably also aware that fees increased at the landfill. The purpose of these fees, I hate recommending increased fees, but in order to try and keep up with it because of our confined space that we have down at the reuse center, we unfortunately need to try and encourage commercial users to go to the landfill with their material. These fees, one of them is the compost material, and that's just matching that compost material cost to the resident and commercials. It's a $40 per ton fee that the landfill has set for commercial and residential users, and so that's that one fee that goes up just to match that. The other ones, for the most part, we're trying to keep the residential costs lower, much lower, and the residential or in the commercial much higher. I don't know if you want me to go through each of those fees unless you have that in your packet, and you don't need me to. But we recommend trying to. Hopefully, this will deter some of the commercial users, and if not, I might need to try and come back to you in another 3 months, 6 months. If it gets really bad, we might have to shut it down for a little bit to try and keep up and then open it up again. We do have, I will mention, if the concrete and asphalt rubble that we get in, we are charging a fee to try and to pay for the crushing costs. It's pretty expensive each year. We have seen a slowdown in that concrete rubble and asphalt rubble coming in. If we have, in the past, if we didn't have the concrete road base and asphalt road base to sell, we just didn't sell it, even though there's a price on here. If we don't see the rubble coming in and we are just using that for our own uses, we may not sell it, if that's okay with council. But that's just just trying to fluctuate what we need versus what we let out to the public.
I have a quick question. Why, if we have people in town that have the concrete and the asphalt crushing, why is the city doing it if we don't have space? Is that something that maybe we could let go of and then stick to the green stuff, and the other commercial businesses in town just take that over for us?
Yes, in fact, we were just discussing that this week as we've seen that slowdown on concrete rubble and asphalt rubble come in. We believe that it's going out to Sun Rock and Bryce Christensen and Western Rock, which if we don't get any in, we're not going to be sad. That just means we don't have to pay for crushing, and we'll just use what we need. We will still have projects like our roadway projects, our parks projects, trails. We'll still have some come in, but that might just be what we use for our own purposes.
And what would we have to do to make that part of this, that we decide we're not going to use, that we're not going to take the concrete or the asphalt?
Yeah, we can just tell them, hey, we're not taking it. If council would like us to do that, we just put up a sign and say, hey, take that somewhere else.
I think where we have businesses in St. George or Washington County that can handle that, and we are short on the green space, that's just one less thing we have to manage that somebody else could do.
If that's the case, Cameron, so then we'll get enough for the projects that we'd have enough with just
right
what we're
now,
bringing in?
the piles that we have that are already road-based piles, Dave and I were talking about it, unless we have really big projects. But right now, 3000 East is going to take a big chunk of it, but it could last 5-10 years for what we need, what we have out there right now.
Is there a good way that we can make sure that gets funneled to those businesses that already handle it so it doesn't end up in a wash somewhere?
We could reach out to them. That was this topic, the concrete and asphalt rubble, that's already been kind of a touchy subject with those businesses, because we don't try and make money out there, and so our cost to sell that, if we had too much road base, we try and just get rid of it and sell it. And it's lower price than what they're selling at those other sand and gravel operations.
Right.
And so they don't like that. That's one of that fee on here to raise to $10 a ton to sell that material. That was to try and keep them happier that it would go up a little bit so that they could get more sales. I would recommend we'll just reach out to them, talk to them, and see if maybe on every other week, maybe once a month, see how their concrete and asphalt rubble intake is, and if that's continuing to happen, we might be good. I don't see why it shouldn't be an issue. Dave checked with them this week, and it's zero cost to dump that at their locations, to bring in concrete and asphalt rubble.
Would that possibly be a solution for us? So say we get out of the concrete rubble business, then does that open up enough to where we feel we're comfortable with our green waste there?
Maybe. We will have to kind of judge that as time goes on. The piles that we have there, it depends on how fast we use them, but if we are then left with more space for the compostable material, that might help us a lot. That's what we're thinking, but we won't know that until maybe 6 months, a year. We'll just have to keep tracking it and see how it goes.
Do we have any other location where we could store the concrete and rubble? Say we do go into an agreement or something to where we make it so we push people to go to these other locations.
I know Scott has lots of locations that we can put up somewhere out there, so I can talk to him. But we just have to be careful so we don't have to haul it and incur those costs too. But yeah, we can definitely look at that as an option.
Yeah, I think I would agree with Natalie on that. I'm sure some of you may got the same phone call I got. And I agree. Let them do it.
So we just put signage up with that just says we're not taking that anymore. We're not taking concrete or asphalt. I think maybe residents may not know where to dump that, but commercial would know where to dump that. And so just I don't know legally what we do, but put a sign that says these are 3 businesses, small businesses in the area that will take that, or they just say that word of mouth when they show up with their material?
Yeah, and that's where we'll get some concern, is those people that are used to going there and having it convenient. So we need to figure out a way to get them there, and they're not that far away, the other places that take them.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, it is really just around the corner, but just to maybe have some maps or some addresses of being able to say this is where you would take this, because commercial will know that. It's the residents that are not going to know that.
Maybe that's something that could go in our public utilities newsletter.
Main thing is we don't want them to dump that. That's the worst thing to dump out.
Yeah.
In the wherever.
Right.
On settler ground. So we want to communicate that really well and make it easy.
work.
Did Dave have any brilliant ideas?
He was just asking, what about the stuff that we bring in? Can we still, when we take out a concrete to sidewalk to replace it or something like that, we would still bring that in unless council doesn't want us to do that. We would still bring that in for our use.
No, I think we should bring our own stuff in.
We have the equipment already, so
Yeah.
I would say to do that. And I think those contractors will be satisfied with that. And that's the private industry take care of it.
I'm ready for motion, council, if you have no other questions.
No, go ahead. I'll second it. Whatever you say.
I'll make a motion to approve item number 14, the consider use of approval of an ordinance amending fee for service to render at the youth center, and part of that would be the removal of the concrete or asphalt from the residents. And we will continue to use that as a city needs service.
I would maybe amend that to not be selling so we're not going to be selling to the public. Perfect. Second.
Motion by Natalie, second by Jimmy. All in favor, starting with Danielle.
Danielle Larkin, aye.
Jimmy Hughes, aye.
Greg MacArthur, aye.
Michelle Tanner, aye.
Motion carries unanimously. I don't have any appointments, reports. Michelle, got anything?
No.
Natalie? March 26th, 11 a.m. March 26th. Anything, Greg?
Oh, thanks. One comment is just I thought it was so awesome of what the city did last Friday with the cleanup. It was just incredible.
Yeah.
I was at work. I really wanted to participate in that. I did not, but I just saw so many people, and it was just to see when I was driving to work, just to see all the city trucks there and all the people. What a great effort. That was incredible.
Oh, yeah. There was a ton of people that helped, and thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds of garbage that got picked up. So that was awesome. Jimmy, any reports?
Got nothing.
Danielle?
Yeah, tonight at 7, the Dove Center virtual gala, if you guys are able to join. I think we all know how important the Dove Center is for our community, and they can definitely use our support tonight for their fundraiser. And then tomorrow at 11, from 11 to 1, is that Soup and Bowl at the Art Museum. And just a reminder that Saturday, March 19th is the dedication of the Juanita Brooks sculpture in our historic sculpture garden at 10 a.m. So that should be a really neat experience.
Yes. Okay, that's all, and we don't have need for a closed session, so I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second. Motion by Natalie, second by Michelle. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we are done.